According to the National Electrical Code, specifically NEC 210.52C3, countertop receptacles are required to be installed on kitchen countertops that are 12 inches or wider and less than 24 inches from the floor. This requirement ensures that countertop appliances can be easily plugged in and used safely. Furthermore, NEC 210.52C5 Exception B provides specific guidance for installing receptacles on a peninsula or island countertop. This exception allows for a single receptacle to be installed on the peninsula or island countertop, provided it meets certain conditions. One crucial condition is that the receptacle must be located no more than 12 inches below the countertop surface. This ensures that the receptacle is still readily accessible for countertop appliances while accommodating the unique design of a peninsula or island. When installing a receptacle on a kitchen peninsula countertop without a backsplash, it's essential to adhere to these code requirements carefully. Because there is no backsplash, the exception allows a single receptacle to be installed, but it must still be readily accessible and suitable for countertop appliances. To summarize the key requirements for installing receptacles on a kitchen peninsula countertop without the backsplash, firstly, refer to NEC 210.52C3, which mandates countertop receptacles for countertops 12 inches or wider. Secondly, take note of NEC 210.52C5 Exception B, which allows a single receptacle on a peninsula without a backsplash. Thirdly, ensure the receptacle is located no more than 12 inches below the countertop surface. Fourthly, confirm the receptacle is accessible and suitable for countertop appliances. By following these guidelines, electrical installations on kitchen peninsula countertops can meet safety standards and provide convenience for homeowners. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a comprehensive set of standards that govern electrical installations to ensure safety and proper functioning. Understanding and adhering to the NEC is crucial for electricians and anyone involved in electrical work. The NEC is updated regularly to reflect changes in technology and best practices, so staying current with the latest edition is essential. Section 210.52 of the NEC specifically addresses receptacle requirements for dwelling units, including kitchens. This section outlines the number, location, and type of receptacles required to ensure that electrical power is readily available where it's needed. Subsection 210.52C focuses on countertop receptacles in kitchens, providing detailed requirements for their installation. As previously mentioned, 210.52C3 mandates receptacles for countertops 12 inches or wider, and 210.52C5 Exception B addresses peninsula and island countertops. When installing receptacles on a peninsula or island countertop, it's important to consider the overall design of the kitchen and the intended use of the countertop space. The goal is to provide convenient access to electrical power without compromising safety or aesthetics. If the peninsula or island has a backsplash, receptacles can be installed in a backsplash as long as they meet the height requirements specified in the NEC. However, if there is no backsplash, the receptacle must be installed below the countertop surface, no more than 12 inches down. In addition to the location requirements, it's also important to ensure that the receptacles are of the correct type and are properly grounded. Ground fault circuit interrupter or GFCI protection is typically required for receptacles serving kitchen countertops to protect against electrical shock. GFCI protection works by monitoring the current flowing through the circuit and quickly interrupting the power if a ground fault is detected. This can prevent serious injury or death in the event of an electrical fault. When installing receptacles below the countertop surface, it's important to use appropriate mounting hardware and techniques to ensure that the receptacles are securely attached and protected from damage. The receptacle box should be flush with the underside of the countertop and securely fastened to the countertop structure. The wiring connections should be made according to the NEC and should be protected from physical damage. It's also important to consider the accessibility of the receptacle when it's installed below the countertop surface. The receptacle should be easily accessible for plugging in and unplugging appliances, and it should not be obstructed by cabinets or other obstructions. If the receptacle is difficult to access, it may be necessary to install a surface-mounted receptacle box or a pop-up receptacle to improve accessibility. In some cases, it may be necessary to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to ensure that the receptacle installation meets all applicable code requirements. Electrical codes and regulations can be complex, and it's important to have a thorough understanding of the requirements before starting any electrical work. A qualified electrician can provide guidance on the proper installation techniques and can help ensure that the installation is safe and compliant with all applicable codes. When planning a kitchen renovation or a new construction project, it's important to consider the electrical requirements early in the design process. This will help ensure that the electrical system is properly designed and installed to meet the needs of the homeowners. The number and location of receptacles should be carefully considered to provide convenient access to electrical power throughout the kitchen. In addition to countertop receptacles, it's also important to consider receptacles for other appliances such as refrigerators, dishwashers, and ovens. These appliances typically require dedicated circuits to ensure that they have sufficient power and to prevent overloading the electrical system. The electrical panel should be sized appropriately to accommodate the electrical load of the kitchen and the rest of the dwelling unit. The panel should have sufficient capacity to handle all of the circuits required for the kitchen, as well as any future electrical needs. It's also important to ensure that the electrical panel is properly grounded and that all of the circuits are protected by circuit breakers or fuses. Circuit breakers and fuses are designed to protect the electrical system from overloads and short circuits. They will automatically trip or blow if the current exceeds the rated capacity of the circuit, preventing damage to the wiring and appliances. When selecting circuit breakers or fuses, it's important to choose the correct size for the circuit. The size of the circuit breaker or fuse should match the ampacity of the wiring and the load that the circuit is expected to carry. Oversizing the circuit breaker or fuse can create a fire hazard, as the wiring may overheat before the circuit breaker trips. In addition to the NEC, there may be local electrical codes or regulations that apply to electrical installations in a particular area. It's important to check with the local building department or electrical inspector to determine if there are any additional requirements that must be met. Local codes may address issues such as the type of wiring that is permitted, the grounding requirements, or the location of receptacles and lighting fixtures. By following the NEC and any applicable local codes, electrical installations can be performed safely and in compliance with the law. This will help protect the homeowners from electrical hazards and ensure that the electrical system functions properly for years to come. Remember to always disconnect the power before working on any electrical circuits and to use appropriate safety equipment such as insulated tools and gloves. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it's best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. Electricity can be dangerous, and it's important to take precautions to avoid electrical shock or other injuries. In summary, when installing receptacles on a kitchen Peninsula countertop without a backsplash, firstly, understand and apply NEC 210.52C3 concerning countertop receptacle requirements. Secondly, utilize the exception outlined in NEC 210.52C5 and for Peninsula installations. Thirdly, position the receptacle no more than 12 inches beneath the countertop surface. Fourthly, ensure the installed receptacle remains easily accessible and suitable for the intended use with countertop appliances. The information provided in this guide is intended for informational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before starting any electrical work. They can assess the specific circumstances of the installation and provide guidance on the proper techniques and materials to use. Electrical work should only be performed by qualified individuals who have the necessary training and experience. Improper electrical work can be dangerous and can create a fire hazard. It's important to take precautions to avoid electrical shock or other injuries. The National Electrical Code is a comprehensive set of standards that govern electrical installations to ensure safety and proper functioning. Understanding and adhering to the NEC is crucial for electricians and anyone involved in electrical work. The NEC is updated regularly to reflect changes in technology and best practices, so staying current with the latest edition is essential. Always remember safety first when dealing with electrical installations.